Hello. I took a nap on accident. I have had some issues with my shoulders all freaking week, so I was like laying on a heating pad for a bit, trying to get like the tightness to stop. It didn't work, but I fell asleep. Don't worry, nothing caught on fire. My heating pad automatically turns off. Relax. But I napped way longer than I would have liked. No, sleep is bad. Sleep is the enemy. Sleep prevents streams, and I need to stream or I will die. I will just simply die. I'm not dramatic. We're gonna play more Soma. Didn't remember I was stuck until I loaded the game. And then I remembered, oh man, I was stuck looking for some sort of dumb battery. We continue looking for said dumb battery. Oh, flashlight. I don't wanna. They do bad things to my body. Hello, Wheezy. Would you like to die? I would unplug you if I could, but I do not see. So unfortunately, you are quite stuck like that. Why are you judging me? I wish Twitch would give mods access to sub emotes automatically. It's like a payment for being mod. But I can't see. Do I need to trigger it? Nope. Okay, I did the triggering it. It won't do nothing now. I shut these. I shut that. That would be nice, but then Twitch misses out on lots of money. I mean, you can only have so many mods, right? Where is the battery? Should I just Google it? Because I can't go under here. You don't lose that much fucking money from a couple of mods having Twitch emotes. I feel like it would be like advertising, like, oh, look how cool those are. Man, I want to use those. Let me sub. Mods should have the emotes so they can advertise my emotes, because I worked not necessarily hard on them, but I worked on them and it took time. Where do I find the battery? He doesn't come in here, does he? Excuse me, sir. Would you like to hear about the Lord and Savior battery? Sorry, I'm poor. What? I'm not saying you need to pay for it. I'm saying you should get it for free for doing work. It's like a reward. Oh, the chair moves. Get him, chair. Fight him, chair. I feel like he's still like tinking around. Hey. Hi. Can I lock him in here? My face is glitching. Does that just mean I am in pain? I don't even know what part I'm on to look it up. Is it blind? Can I run around with my flashlight? Because for some reason, this is darker than I recall. Excuse me, do you know battery? Shush. I need battery. Help. Ayúdame, por favor. Door shut. Help. Instead. Battery. There's a butthole on the wall. I'll go up here. Because that computer doesn't work because there's no battery. Where's the... Where's thing? Whoa. Is he going in the room? Yes. Okay. Wow, this is dead end. Battery. Bright over here. Battery. There's a door. Oh, nope. Shut the door. Shut the door. Shut the door. Ah! Battery? I've been over here. Can I touch any of these? No. What is even the point? I've been in so many circles. And not much guidance was one thing I hated. You knew about being in the ocean? And you didn't tell me. I thought we were friends. Get up there. I just got out into the ocean when I played. Yeah, who likes the ocean like that? I'll Google. I'm gonna Google it. I don't know where I am to Google it. Soma, where battery? Past the door that won't open, there is a room. Okay. How do you open the door that won't open? That doesn't look like where I am. Oh my god, I just got a spoiler. Well, that sucks. Now it's telling me to buy batteries. Google, you're so useless. I don't know where to go. What door? How do you open a door that won't open? There's no power. Wow. Sorry, can you open the door that don't open? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, hey, what's up? What's up, man? You ugly. What are you looking at? I'm not coming out, so go away. Ew, why is your jaw wiggle? Ugh. Oh, hey, what's up? I got a spoiler. No! Also, the spoiler implied that I'm not done once I finish the arc stuff, and I'm not a fan of that. Whoa. What? Why are you in here? Ah! Bitch. Why are you in my room? I can't see you. I know you're there. My face is all glitchy. Oh, there you are. I can go 2 directions. I thought there was a third direction when I was here last. Oh, that one's still there too. Just flip that one. Stop shutting my door, bitch! What the fuck? Go away. Leave. Leave. I guess I can try to go that way. We do that. We go try to this way. I'm gonna hide in this corner. Wait for him to go that way, because he wants to come this way, right? He doesn't come this way. If he does, we'll run past him that way and loop around. That's the plan, okay? Everybody get your laces. Ooh. He came this way! That bitch! Ah! It's chasing me! Ah! 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 Panic! To the door! Ah! 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 What do you want? I am not dead. Where am I? Why does it do this to me? I can't do anything like this. I had to turn off the head bubble. What is that? I'd rather just be dead. Why does this motherfucker chase me to the end of the earth? He can't even see. He has no eyeballs. How does he find me? Ah! I'll go touch that. I'll go up here. Oh, this is a different tunnel. I'm so lost. Where is the battery? Help! Help! The lights. I can't do anything. It checks while you're screaming. Bullshit. It doesn't ask for my microphone. It would be very confused. Okay. Hi. I have to ask that man a question. Sir? Do you know where the battery is? Are you talking to me? His voice. Why is my face is glitching like there's something in there. Am I just pain? Has it been doing that the whole time? No. Something is in there. Is it doing it because of you? I hear a voice. I feel like I'm supposed to go this way, but I am hurting. I don't know how to get here. I don't see a monster. Go down. I shut the door.
Thank you.
Who is speaking? Oh no, that's too dark.
Nice to meet you.
You speak? No. You're a liar. Liar! Oh. No. 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 Crawl. 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 They come in here. Ew. Why can't I crawl in all of the air ducts? That seems safer. Is he coming? He is coming. Now he's leaving. I can just barely see his feet. Do I need to go that way? No, no, no. Can you just die? I want a zappy stick. Can I zap him? I would try to run past him, but I'm pretty sure he will touch me. Because it won't let me crawl under the door. Which is stupid. That's enough space to crawl under. Sir? Ma'am? Sir? Sir? Can you go away? I don't know how to get back here. This is quite problematic for me. Ah! Beep, beep. I don't understand because I crouch everywhere. Slash is sneaky mode. Do I make the vibe go off? Open. What if I trigger the door noise? No? Why are you just standing? Alright. We're probably gonna die. Are you ready, guys? He's looking right at me. Just gonna go past you. Ah! Fuck you! What the fuck? I get all the way past him. And he just... Ah! Bitch! Fuck you. This is why you're ugly. Ugly! I can't even... That's because it was from behind. Where am I?
Wow.
Why is my face still all chromatic? That. How did I get there? How would... How that work? Sound alerts be pissing me off, man. Hold on. Hold the horses. Monitoring device. Oops. I can't hear it. Why is everything scuffed? I think it's because of how I was told to set up my freaking mic. So it puts the mic in a monitoring device so that everything else can listen to it.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't hear that. It's not doing the sound properties. It's why no sound?
Wow.
No. That's because of how it has my mic set up. Are you tired of hearing Owen Wilson yet? Oh, why can I hear myself? Why is the mic... Excuse me, why are you monitoring? No. Stop it. Not yet. You said replay send. I don't... Send it again. Let's do this one. Anyway. At his knees. Ah! Should I... A minute. Put my fist in this. Yeah. Ick. Ick. Don't do that. Don't be like Simon. Don't fist random buttholes. Alright, now the question remains. How did I get to where I was? Without pain. Without suffering. Was it that way? The door is shut. I really didn't need 3 monsters on this earth. My brain got confused. Epic Darks is my follower sound. Mine is dial-up, I believe. I don't remember. Some machine noises. Did I go this way? No, this is a dead end. I'm gonna open this. Whoop, 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 whoop. Mistakes were made. Ugh. Crawl faster. Okay. So you'll need to go that way. So I can go the way you're stip stopping. Mister. You need to just mind your business and go away. I don't exist. I'm not here. You can't reach me. You don't know me. You can't see. You are dead barnacles. Not that way. That way. Bitch. Where are you going? You should go see a doctor. That doesn't sound very good. Oh, I didn't mean to fall. I didn't mean to fall. Please, 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 please. Safety. I don't know. Why is my computer telling me about Japan's inflation? Where is he? There's nothing over there. Where is he going? Wait, that way? That's fine. You can go that way. I want to go the other way. Okay. Go, 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 go. There's a butt on the wall. Ugh. This door. Up here. Open that. I found it! Ah! Suck it. Okay, now we have health to run around the other way. I feel like when I get the battery, I'm not gonna know how to get back. I definitely have to go this way.
This discovery belongs to everyone.
And wait, maintenance? Maintenance. I'm scared. I'm tired of dying. Open the door. Go back in my cubby. Wait for monster to come in, and then I can go out. I wish it would let me lock it in a room. I don't know if Cookie's coming over here yet. That isn't open. Why do you shut the doors when you reload me? Stop it! Which way is step? That way? No, no. Go down the hallway. Man, the game is dark. Over there. Hold on. I don't know if I can turn the brightness up for stream's sake. Video. Gamma. Because I turned the gamma up, but it didn't do anything. Display? Where's brightness? What's the effect? Bloom on, depth of field high. What is Sao Sao? Fingering? Reflection, refraction. There's no... Why do you not have brightness? Hints. Where are the hints? It says on. Where are the hints? Color separation. Don't do that. Or that, actually. Okay. Oh my god, it's even worse now. I can't see anything. I gotta turn the gamma back up. It doesn't look good, but I can't see shit. I like being able to see their feet. What are you laughing at? Ow. My dog's toenail poked a hole in my armrest. I'm sad about it. Where am I hearing this voice from? No. That was a bad place to fulfill the redeem. Can you go? No. Can you go down that hallway? What is wrong with you? You bastard! Why is he like this? La la la, stepping. I hate this thing. I don't know what it is, but it's a bitch. Door, crawl, open, please. Why are you patrolling these 10 feet? Bastard. He opened the door already. I don't even think he opened the door. I think the door just opened itself. I'm being sabotaged. Ah!
Run, bitch! Run!
Now! If I run, he's gonna chase me. He runs faster than me for some damn reason. Ah! You want me to run past him when he turns around? I'll do it when he turns. Now! I tried to juke him. It didn't work. Help. Where is he? That was bullshit. I only got hit once that damn time. Fuck you. The fuck is this shit? If you're gonna kill me, just kill me. Shut up. The fuck am I supposed to be going? God damn it. Where's your fucking battery? Why does it keep... What is the circles? Let me through that. What is this? I don't remember how to throw it. Why do I come this way? Why are all the doors? You said go through the door. You can't pass. That doesn't make any sense. How are you supposed to do that? Where is he? Can't see. My flashlight is on. Ah! I'm tired of this, Grandpa! How to throw shit? I don't remember. I want to throw it. There we go. Why is it that button? Let me out of here! Let me out! This is bullshit! Damn it. Ugh. I'm sick of this shit. I could be playing Woo or something. Something fun and less annoying than you, bitch. Let me fight it. I'll stab it in its billions of eyeballs. Fuck you. Leave me alone. I hate you. Your mother hates you. Ah! I can't run now. No! I saw a door. I can't do anything with it. The red door. The door is fucking red. Probably because it needs power. I'm sick of this shit. What do you want me to do? It says that the fucking hints are on too. What a load of bullshit. They're lying pieces of shit is what they are. Ugh. I'm over this. I'm over it. This pisses me off. There ain't no damn way you can crawl under that shit. Up. I can't DNF another game. I've DNF too many of them. Go away. There was a butthole in this room, right? Put my fist on this butthole. Ugh. Diseases. This bitch keeps shutting my vent door, but opening other doors. It doesn't make any sense. The fuck is that shit? Go away. Go away. You aggro-y bitch. A noose? A noose? You mean anuses? I hate you. This light is annoying. Of all the lights that work, it's the one that makes it where I can't see over there. It's so annoying. Fucking meat slabs. Why are they slippery? Here he is. I'm gonna go past him. I'm going past him. Open it. Get up there. Get up there. I feel like the second I get to that goddamn door, it's just gonna be like, oh no. Okay, I'm gonna save and exit. And then go back into game. So that it puts me in that spot when I die, hopefully. I fucking hate this game, man. I fucking hate this game. What is this bullshit? 0 out of 10, unplayable. Because I'm stupid. I need to be told where I am going. And this game does not tell me where I am going. Stop spazzing, what the fuck? Because my hair is long. I feel like I go open that door and he's gonna come right up and bite my damn fist. I hear him. I hear him. This would be a lot better if I could just shut the door and they couldn't open it. Because he has no damn arms. How is he opening a damn door? Bullshit. Bullshit. And it does this like box thing as if he's gonna go that way so I can go this way. Is he just fucking bugged? Is my game bugged? What is this shit? Why is he placed in the same spot? This little bitty spot. Bluetooth? Fuck his Bluetooth. Keep walking. You keep doing the walking. I'm going over here. See? Red door. Power failure. Okay. I did it. We acknowledge power failure, yes? No, why are you coming back? Why are you coming back? Don't come back! You're an asshole. What? Why didn't he just go in the fucking room? Stop! Stop it! Stop doing the hands. No hands! You stupid! Stupid! Where's the off? Stop it! No. No hands. Can't see. Okay, I can't see now. Where is this bitch? Why did this bitch be like bitching? Let me crawl under the damn doors that are barely open. This is nonsense. I don't know where I'm supposed to go that way. There was nowhere to go. How close is too close? Hey. Mind your business. You bitch! Why? Where'd he go? Where is he? What? Will the bitch fake me out? Oh, he did. Why are you standing there? Whoa! Ugly ass. You ugly ass! I'm sick of this shit. I think this bitch is bugged. Like, what is this? He's not even getting to his pacey spot. Hello? Get out of the door! Ah! Give me this. Come more. Come more. Come more. Forward. Now. Bastard. What is the point of being able to throw stuff? God damn it. Okay, I'm gonna keep luring them this way. I need something else. Can I have that? Can I have that? Why do you keep stopping? Don't you want to get the noisy thing? Move forward! Your ass! Face! Bitch! I can't reach it. Oh my god. Noise. Yes. Look at that noise. Look at that noise. Ah! Ah! Door. Shit. Okay. Now I'm over here. It is useless. There's nothing here. Why is it saying power failure? I have found no power. Don't yippee me. That was nothing. That doesn't do anything for us. We're stuck in this room. I think the obvious solution is to bust through that. What is this? Ah! Are you fucking kidding me? You fucking kidding me? Literally, I just got pissed off and tried to rip that off the wall and it worked. I am so annoyed. Get out of here. I'm trying to work. Is he in here? Wait. Oh. Okay, I did it. Can I open this door now? Do we have power? Take it back. Isn't on? You good? Okay, I'm gonna assume that means good. Now I just need to not die. Or I can cheese it again and save an exit. I'm gonna do that. Cheat the save system. Save an exit. Yes. That's so stupid. Why do you only have a save and exit button? Why is there no save? Plain save and continue. Simon is somewhere in Theta, hunted by strange creatures. This game. It says, would you like the hints on? Yes, I would like hints. Okay, we won't give you any real hints though. Fuck you. What the fuck is that shit? Cool. Crazy. It's so flickery. Oh, okay. No, wait. You should come that way. Oops, not that way. That way. Did he go that way? He did. Okay, good. Good. This is good. I'm gonna take this. Go that way. I run. Does that have power? Oh, fucking hell. Let me out of here. Fuck that shit. Shut the door. Shut it. God damn it. Ah! Bitch, you better not be giving me water monsters right now. I swear to fuck. Yeah. Fuck your water. I ain't getting in that shit. I get the feeling there's water monsters, or I sink to the damn bottom. I'm not doing that again. I swear to fuck. I feel like I was there 30 minutes last time. I've been there for an hour this time. Don't look at me like that. You don't understand my pain, Biscuit. You go to sleep. Enjoy not having to do this. Okay? There's definitely water monsters here, isn't there? Definitely. Definitely. I'm falling for now. Ah! I don't like it. It's dark under here. Let me out. Out. Up. Climb faster. I don't trust it. I don't trust you. Ah. Oh lordy. The Wawa monster. Why is my eyes blurry? What the fuck is that shit? Climb backwards? No? Okay. No climb backwards. Climb this? I hear gurgling. The gurgles of a monster. What am I? Oh. I sure hope it wants me to go up. What in the maze? Fuck. Okay. Don't know why I could do it this one, but not that other one over there. I'm gonna go up, I guess. Up did nothing. What am I doing now? Everything's creaky, like it's about to collapse. I don't trust it. Okay. Go down this way. Where am I going? Oh wow. Okay, it's not gonna let me back off there. Okay, this is weird. I don't understand. Okay, so I came in through there. I assume I need to get there. Because that one doesn't look like it has a gate on it. I'm stuck. Already. Okay. Don't know why that didn't hurt me, but the other one did. That wasn't as far as that was. Jump on this? Can. Okay. Oh no. My enemy parkour! Fucking hell. Where's the ladder at? There. Well, this will be fun. You know, into the frying pan, out of the frying pan into the fryer. What is that phrase? I don't know. Ah! What is that? You just jump and let go? I just wanted off at that level. You just pick and choose what level you get off at. What is that shit? Okay, I fell. Damn it. Of course my head's in the way, because that makes sense. Definitely not enough clearance. I'm stuck. Hello? I'm failing. Ow. What? What? You can't just pick and choose where the damage happens. The fuck? Ugh. This game pisses me off. Ugh. How do you pronounce your name? Malik? Maliki? I'll go up. Let me go up. Okay, I'm on this side now. So there's that. Don't think it does anything for me. Ugh. This is a maze. Gotta say, I'm not a fan of it. Burp, 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 burp. I'm so very hurt. I want to try to jump on that. It's kind of far away. Or do I need to go up? Do I need to go up or out? I'm close. Close to what? Do I jump on that? Oh, your name? I don't know where I'm going. Jump on these. Ouchie. Oh, there's the ladder down me. How dumb would it be if I died from jumping down off of these things? I feel like if I jump down again, it's going to kill me. Oh damn, I could have looped around from here. Didn't I try that? Thing's so creepy. I'm gonna go down and jump that way. Maybe. I don't know. I'm sick of this game. Yeah, some people spell it Malichi? Biblical figure? I know nothing about biblical figures. Oh. Ah! Can I go this way? Let me out! Give me the pole. This is my friend. I'll give you such a wallop. Can I get a wall butthole or something? I need to stick my fist in something. I think I'm hurt. Door. Don't make me... Oh! A wall butthole. You're so kind. Thank you. Stop making that noise. It's so weird. You know how it feels. You don't have to make the same noise. Oh, this seems like I don't want to push this. Oh. That was terrifying. It scared the shit out of me. Way to set the panic in. Let me out of the damn water. No, I'm in the ocean now. Oh. Hey. You don't look so good, man. Don't worry, I don't feel so good.
Holy shit, Hart blew a VO2 surplus. She sealed the tunnel.
She really didn't want anchors following us to Omicron.
Hmm.
Ah, shit, she's fucking hurt. Her suit is leaking.
We have to get her to Omicron.
Shit, it's bad, real bad.
Oh, fuck, no!
Are you Hart? Well, it's nice to be out of that area, cause fuck that shit, man. What's this? Investigate? No? Okay, cool. You're fine. I'm honestly not picky about how my name is pronounced. Okay. What is that?
Alright. Let's find Omicron.
Or we could not. I think we should just opt for dying. Are those... What is it? What are those things? You touch it and it explodes. Are they explodies? No, they don't look explodey. They look hollow. Touch it. What does it say? Power failure. Wonderful. That doesn't tell me what they are. I suppose I don't go around labeling things where I live either. This is TV. This is microwave. Microwave heat food. Oh, fascinating.
This is Omicron?
Oh.
Hope they save me a diving suit.
Doubt. There's power failure, man. Okay. Where is your power located? Oh, that looks very inviting, I guess.
Where am I going? This isn't safe.
No shit. We're going anyway, though. Just light footwork, okay? Ooh, no jumping. This is giving me such anxiety. I don't want to look down. I'm not going to. You can't make me. Okay. The button. Hello? Can't do it. I feel like this is the only game in the world where you can climb the broken ladder. I think my face was staticking a little bit. I turned off the visual effects because it was hard to see. Why did I come down this? Oh, there's more down. Okay. That's fun. I like that. Definitely. Ah! Grab it! Oh god, I am... Nope. Let me back up. Oh, I don't like that at all. I'm gonna be sick. Is this what fear is? I'm not a fan of it. 0 out of 10. Do I still need to find the power to turn the button? But where is the power? I guess we'll find out. I'm gonna just keep going this way, I guess. It was dangerous. The barnacles holding the sheets of metal together. Whoop. I don't like the open abyss of the ocean. I hate it. Oh, that looks like power. Should I follow? I'm gonna follow it. Oh, hey, what's up? Who are you? You got a plant growing out of your chest.
The world is dead, Richard.
You're dead too.
Even if we got inside Omicron, what's left? Grab a couple suits and head for Tau?
Isn't that the goal?
Strasky, Jonesy, Hart. Everyone is dead. And we are right behind them. We're probably the last people left alive. The last moments of mankind.
Fine. That's fun. Are you done talking? Oh no, okay.
No oxygen left. Better sit down. Don't want to fall into the abyss.
Why not?
There are worse ways to die. Probably.
Doubt. I feel like
Why they call
suffocating
you
slow.
Huh? Oh, it's for Emma.
Emma Alvaro. Yeah, I like that. It's a good name. We should have hung out more. I think we would have made good friends.
Doubt.
Thanks. I would have liked that.
Done now?
Goodbye,
Oh.
Emma.
Bye.
Who meets somebody who's like, oh, that's a cool name. It's a good name. That sounded like she was naming a baby, and he was like, yeah, that's a good choice. That was weird. Okay, enjoy death. I would rather be there myself, honestly. Because this is fucking purgatory or some shit. I doubt the arc is worth it. Being inside of these have never gone well for me. Power failure. Obviously, that's not going to work. Up we go. This is the power station, is it not? Oh, why is it shut? Oh my god. We're down. Manual override. Yank. Okay. See, I learned to rip things off the door now. Push the button first. I don't know, the button seemed like a after button.
Whoa. Better be careful.
Nah. Nah. Can I open this now? No? Okay, where am I going? This? Oh. Then flush. Flush. Open valves. What valves? Valves outside? Oh, these! Okay, I got it. Okay. Now? There we go. Anyway, as I was saying, this kind of thing didn't go very well for us last time. So, I don't know what we're expecting here. But it turned out to be good. Up we go. Oh, this is nice. There's a dead person. No break. Thank you. I'm gonna absorb your memories.
I'm not getting anything. I can't read him like the others.
Interesting. He didn't leave a note or anything. I feel like I don't need the butthole at the moment. Do you need that? Oh, scissors. Now, give me the scissors. I want them. Alright. So you take your scissors and you insert it into the temple. And this is called psychology from the 1800s. Check. 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 Nice. It is. Power failure still. Nothing. Fish sphere. Soma bomba. Yeah. Do you ever remember that last area, Nori? I was there for another hour before I tried to rip something off the wall out of anger. Frustration. Anger and frustration create progress. Yeah. I hate this game. It pisses me off. I was there for so long. Where you said power? This is the power place, is it not? Oh, you said power.
What?
I don't trust you.
There you are.
Where are we?
We're right next to
Hell.
Omicron, a smaller building connected to the main site. Can't you tell?
No, my view is pretty limited. There's some heavy restrictions on my system access. Did you find a power suit?
Not yet. Trying to figure out how to get
Bitch,
into
I just said I couldn't get in
Omicron.
there.
Big building.
Oh, okay. Keep up the good work.
That's it? You got nothing?
Sure, you're so
Come on.
helpful.
Thanks.
Wow, I hate you. You stay there. And push
Cat?
these buttons.
How are you so okay with all this?
With what?
Being a talking
Ooh.
box, for one thing. Not being
Switches.
human.
Okay,
So, you're not bothered at all by not having a
for
body?
this button.
Come on, be serious.
Oh, that fuse broke. Okay, I see. You want me to...
Not being able to
Route
move would freak
things.
me out. Glad you got the box and not me.
Would make it a little easier to
Where am I routing it to? Get out of the way. What am I routing it to?
Figured
Back to...
being able to stretch a little
this?
would give you some ease.
My physical constraints don't translate to my experience.
Okay, not that. So this one. Of course, that one breaks.
Which is kind of interesting now.
Oh, well that's fabulous. All the damn fuses are broken.
Kath, why do you think I was made? Why would this AI, the WoW, bring me here?
Where am I routing it? Hit a button?
Tell me, why do you think the WoW brought me here? It's restoring humanity.
Button. What am I routing? Oh, that way. Okay.
The
Brute
terminal just
force.
lit up.
Brute force. I did it.
Catherine,
I
Are
had
we
an
alive?
idea of what was happening
That's
on
an
that puzzle.
impossible question to answer.
God, Catherine, shut the fuck up, man.
just figured there must be a way to know. To know if this...
Hold on.
Uber,
Shut
do we
up.
have any painkillers left? This tinnitus is becoming crippling.
Sorry, we only have heavy stuff
Tinnitus.
left. Morphine level drugs.
I'll take it.
Jesus.
Feels like my head is about to explode.
I don't think that's what
Can do, that's stuff
tinnitus
for
is.
emergencies. Besides, Cameron thinks the ringing will settle when JR reaches 100%.
Then tell him to hurry the fuck up.
Should be a matter of hours. Just hang in there.
Keep me posted.
Yeah, well, I have this thing I need to take care of. So I'll talk to you later, okay?
But
Sure thing, Herb.
why is her name her?
Overloaded is black box.
Humans have black boxes?
Here we do. Company policy. It records your vitals to help medical personnel treat you in case of accidents.
That's how I can hear the dead.
Right. Yeah, you should be able to data mine black boxes, just like the intercom in Theta.
The last thing I knew about black boxes is if you cheers it with your robot companion, it explodes everything. And that's how you deal with the colossals. Status quarantined. Oh.
There has to be a way to cancel the lockdown. Have a look around the room.
Dang. Can't fault me for trying that one. How do I get out of this? God damn. Look around the room. There's this dead guy. I don't think that
Any idea
was...
who this is?
Boy, there's another computer.
Are you hearing that glitched noise?
Yeah,
what is
Catherine. Oh,
Did you do that, Catherine?
what is this?
Never mind.
1050. Somebody wants me
I think I
inside.
solved it.
Wait.
Why do I get the feeling
Somebody
that we
wants
just got
me in
lowered
the
into
building.
back of a van?
Offline. Everybody is dead. Everybody is dead. Fail safe. Catherine 4. Carthage. Implemented. I don't know. I'm sure it's Catherine. She's the fail safe. Make a lot of sense. 1050. Catherine, the funny noise put a thing on the screen, and I was talking, bitch. You're so
Something wants us to
interrupting.
come inside.
What the fuck is your
Wanted to go
problem,
inside, wasn't the problem.
beast?
Come on, let's get going.
Fuck you. I don't think I needed that, but I'm going to fist it anyway. Ugh, why do I have to lug you around? Why did I download you? You're more like a virus than an upgrade. Swipe Omni tool. Swiping. Asterix. What are you asterixing? That was weird. The reflection was weird. Open the door. Oh. What are you clipping? What? Can you jump down, please? Jesus Christ. Oh, hey, look at that person. Hey, what's up, bro? What's your name?
Won't fucking open! And nobody's answering to anything! What kind of
Your head is
cold-hearted
ugly. Did you
motherfuckers
take
would
your
just leave us
helmet
here
out to
die?
drown?
Don't you get it? They're dead. They're all dead.
That sounds like Catherine.
You're right. How can you be so calm about this shit? We are dying!
How much air have you guys got?
20 minutes, tops. Hey, I'm in red! Seconds away before the CO2 gets me.
Oh,
Why wait, right? I'm the master of my own
he
fate.
did just take his
Wait,
helmet
Stress,
out and
what are you doing?
drown. That's not what drowning sounds like. That's not what drowning would sound like. Hey, what's up? You look like a fall guy. Your face. What's up, my guy? Can you turn the power on? I thought I did. Those still don't look like they're on. Oh, maybe they are on the lights. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The door's open. We're gonna go into the door. Oh, hey, there's a dead body here. I didn't notice you.
Hey, come on! Open up!
Why do you sound like that guy?
What is this shit? Armor for the apocalypse? Omicron is in quarantine. This is why they didn't answer our call. Hello!
Quarantine sounds bad.
It's called a radio. They're not gonna hear you better if you scream.
Jonesy, you okay?
Zombie.
Look, I know you're the strong silent type, but I need you to say something every now and then so I know you're all right. Jonesy? Jones.
Fuck's sakes. Let's try the annex again. Maybe
Are
we
you
can break
Jonesy?
it.
We're losing Jonesy. We need to get her inside.
Well, get in line! Alvaro, there's nothing we can do for her right now. Hit the stasis switch and let's check the annex.
I don't think this is gonna open. Ugh, we gotta talk to this bitch Catherine again. We're gonna get an ad here in a second. Okay. Malfunction, of course. While we are safe in this little cubby, we're gonna start the ad. Ba, 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 ba. Oops, not that button. Ad starting soon. Oh, cool. Well, why is it not starting? That is a good question. Well, back out then. When the ad starts, we will go to a BRB screen so nobody misses anything. Oh, now it does it. Okay, cool. We will be right back. Welcome back. How'd it go? The game disappeared from the screen. Alright. Back to it. The second I walked over here, it triggered the freaking ad thing, and I'm like, oh, wonderful. I was just sitting there waiting for it, and then it didn't happen. But the second I try to do something, it does.
This had better be the right way.
Bunch of bullshit. Wait, I can't see the chat. There we go. I fixed it. It's the right way. We've already been over here. Remember how you were talking about how dangerous it was? Now it's breaking. What the fuck? We were already walking across this shit. You bitch. Fuck you. I ain't dealing with all your nonsense. I'm jumping over. Push the button. Fuck your nonsense. I need to... Oh my god. Let go of my face, Catherine. Flushing. Chat, we call this a swirly. Oh, my shoulder. Open. Open. Oh.
Let's find that suit and get out.
Oh. No. No. That That suit? This suit? Are we done? This suit? No? Fuck. You have no head. Yeah, I figured. I saw that coming. Something's gonna eat our head. Oh, I don't want to be here. This seems very not good, you feel? Global lockdown active. Override at drive room console. Okay. Where is that? I'm not a fan of anything that's happening right now. What's this? South Hall. Facebook. Okay. Let's shut this door first. Yep, we looked at that. No, I need to go step on this. Oh, nope, don't like that. Button? What want? What want do? Oh, this door. That wasn't available a second ago. Don't think. I feel like horror games that you can't actually fight back are the worst than regular horror, where you do fight back. At least there's some illusion of I can control this situation. Is that my heart? Am I having a panic? Huh? What? I would love to, honestly. Why are you invisible? Stop what I'm doing or stop the mechanism? Hello? Drive room is this way. How convenient. I feel like I don't want to. Medical bay? Nah, I'm good. I'm suddenly not the explorer type and not at all curious. I needed this room. That's the room I needed. Hello? Vent? No? Is this implying to hide? Vent? Damn it. I don't want to go in the med room. I don't want to go into the med bay. Why would I do that? That sounds stupid. Whoa. Oh yeah, nah, fuck this shit, man. What's this? Is that an airlock chamber? One of those things where people dive too deep and they get depressurized or something? One of them? I don't know, but that doesn't look good. The brain thing. North Hall. I feel unsafe. Oh, whoa. Hello? Is this the drive room? Hey now. Why? Why? Locked. 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 Catherine, let's try places. You take the suit, I take the thingy.
Omicron? Everything is so basic, so limited. I hope it's not the Omnitool falling apart. Okay, we need to find you a power suit. You know, so we can go into the abyss without ending up like a recycled can of soda.
You think we'll find one that fits me? I mean, I'm kind of in a suit already.
That's been bothering me too. You know how you were transferred from Vancouver?
Toronto.
From then to now.
How could I forget?
Okay, so we do it again.
You want to send me to the future?
No, you idiot. I want to transfer your mind into a new body.
What?
Look, we already know it can be done. We don't need to make it a big deal.
It is a big deal, Kath. It's a huge fucking deal. There's got to be
I'm gonna be
something else that
Tom.
can take us down there.
But Dunbat at Theta was the only vessel that could take
I'm
that
not gonna
pressure.
be a big
You saw
daddy
what
like
happened.
in
Then think of something
the
else.
other games.
Simon, please. You don't have to switch this instant. Just play along for now. If we find something else, then great. If not,
I'm not promising anything.
thank you, Simon. Have a look around the room. This is where they would keep the
Why
power
does he
suit.
act like
Is
he
there
gets
any left?
options? Like, Simon, no offense, but you're more of a bitch than Catherine is. Hey, look, D. Hello, are you the suit? Oh. Oh.
Oh, God. Nice.
Is your head in there?
Found one of the power suits. There's a dead woman inside. At least I think it's a woman. Just like the body we found in the annex. She's missing her head.
Gross. This could work in our favor, though. Look for a terminal nearby. See if you can boot it up.
Look for a terminal nearby. If, you know, it skips doing everything else, I'd rather just be put into the damn suit. Information, pressure suited, blah, 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 usage, controller. It's onboard computer monitoring pulse brain activity, temperature, stress through skin, conductance. It uses it. Information to provide the wearer with the safest experiment. Oh. What is this? Power suit tracking. Pod D. Give me the D. Damn it.
Not exactly grade A material.
Don't worry about it just yet. Remember what was down at Theta?
Initializing power suits. Fail. Okay, I don't need that. I don't have skin. Power source.
Dead colleague, Imogen Reed.
Power source is missing. I could be the power source, so that's fine. Cortex activity. That's fine. I don't have one of those either. Body temperature.
you
I don't
are.
have one of those.
What about the WoW? What makes you think it'll play along?
Ugh. Main menu.
Even if it was capable of wanting to.
I'm still not crazy about this plan. It feels wrong.
Please, Simon, I can't give up on the Ark. I need this to work.
So we need a Cortex chip, structure gel, and a battery pack.
Fuck.
That's one hell of a shopping list.
Thanks. I'll just hang around here if that's okay.
Man, I don't
I'll be
want
back.
to. Bitch. The fuck you mean you're gonna hang out here? I think the fuck not. Check your air and system supplies. Okay, I can't go in here. This is the next area, so it wants me to go explore shit. I'd rather not. I want to keep my head, thank you. Or someone else's head that I'm borrowing. Why? Whose bright idea was it to make the floor see-through? That was stupid. The fuck? Nobody wants to see
Don't
all
forget,
that.
we need a Cortex chip, structure gel, and a power
Shut the
pack to
fuck
get
up,
the suit ready.
Catherine. I don't need you in my head. Everything's brighter now, so there's that. When did I turn power on? Oh. Oh, it didn't break. Okay, what's that? Where do you find these things? I imagine they're not gonna be all lit up nicely. Storage room? That would be a good place to look, right? Any of this stuff? No? Of course, shit's locked. I'd rather just leave, to be honest. Okay. I take it these are not. This organization is garbage. They said that they had no painkillers. There's aspirin right here. What's that other thing? Prescription medicine. That is so vague. That's kind of, I don't know, unuseful. Okay, the door I came in is open. Oh, this moves now, huh? Okay. Override. Stand by for diagnosis. Diagnosis. Running diagnostics. Oh. Power failure. Power system overload. Rerouting. Bitch. My fiance's out of town. And he just now said, he was like, oh, I got to the hotel a few hours ago. Bitch. Oh, what am I doing? Puzzle? Oh, wait. Oh, I see. Get the virus. I don't know about that. Oh, wait. Okay, so go. Well, no, because that's only one path. We suffer. Okay, I'm suffering. I start. I suppose I can start wherever I want to. Ha. Did it. I'm a genius, guys. I'm so smart. Okay, now. Don't be making weird and shit all around me. I don't like that. Music! Unusually sedated orange roughy found. It had a remarkable bone growth that seemed to interfere with its perception. Brought it inside to study it, but it stiffened and died in the process. Post-mortem study, the thing kicked back to life while being out of the water, kept swinging for a few minutes, so I returned it to an aquarium. It instantly started to bang into the glass and bludgeoned itself to death before I could relocate it. Terrifying. Dead on arrival. Darby and Waldeck identified it as what was sabotaged the Lumar probe at 900 meters depth. It's a 150 centimeter long rudder fish that looks like it has merged with some other kind of fish or shark. It's the freakiest form of mutation we've seen so far. It's clear that it's getting worse. Something is causing this, and I'm not buying the radioactive fallout nonsense that Orvari can't shut up about. The dead man found on the climber this morning has been identified as Johann Ross, the AI psychologist working at Tau. I can't even begin to imagine what has happened down in the abyss, and frankly, I won't risk losing my staff by going down there to look. If the ARC team is alive, which I highly doubt, they will have to find a way to give us a sign. We're not going down there again without a good reason. Is Tau the one where they were going crazy and they were like, hey, you're being relocated. If you don't want to relocate, that's fine, but you'll be alone. Oh, you have your head. What's happening? What is happening? I don't trust that. Nope. I want to leave. Catherine, trade places. You bitch. Leaving me to this shit. You get to stay in the comfy Omnitool. And I have to walk around. My head, or my borrowed head, is gonna get eaten. Oh no. I'm getting claustrophobic from being in these confined spaces. Now stop lasering me. Oh my god. Let me out. What is that? Ah! You died in a shower. You're still showering. What is this thing? I don't know why it keeps pushing spacebar. Oh, what is happening? Hello, Phantom. Welcome to the program. The structure jail has been charged and actually keeps going for a while when removed from a power source. Structure gel? Wait, damn it. I need that. Is it in there? In this? It is that. It does make it shiny. Open it. Give me it. You son of a bitch. Hello, love the Kids Next Door thing. Bomb ass show. Oh, was that what the noise was? Okay, this is broken. Where do I fix this? I just typed in... Oh, you know what? That's why it sounded familiar, huh? Where do I... That's so fucked up. That poor rat. A camera? Where do I insert this? Catherine, I found the thingamabob. And this thing? No. I feel like I don't want to go in here. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. I thought I needed to put my thing in there. But I guess I gotta do the thingy first. Okay, dispense the gel. No. Okay, why? Oh. Goopy. Oh, so you never put your grippers away on your avatar in the bottom left corner. My follow-a-thon? When did I say I was gonna put my grippers away? I don't recall agreeing to this nonsense. Oh. The rat. Oh my god. Little bud, are you okay? Doesn't look like it. Okay, wait. Nope. Okay. Do I put it in this one then? Oh, there we go. Ah. Okay, shut that. Turn this one off. What happens if I put the goop on the other one? Oops. No? Okay. Okay. Oh, okay, I see. Shoes are for weaklings without calluses. The grippers should be put away. Gonna attract the freaks. If the freaks pay me, I don't mind. I can't get it on the thing very good. There we go. Dispense the gel. Do you think this is gonna bring the rat back to life? Oh. No. Ayo. If we can't run barefoot on gravel, what are we doing?
It came back to life. Or something like it.
Oh, I'm so sorry, my guy. Kill it. Put it back out of its misery. Kill it! Give me something to smash it. What's heavy? Can I pick this up? This is pick-upable. Kill it! Ah! Kill it! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! Ah! Ew. Ayo. Open. Ah, I feel bad for the rat. He was all down. He's busy hacking the mainframe. Will you hack him? Get out. Give me this. I did it. I got the wow. Wow. Nice. Now I'm not dead yet. Ah! Nice. Nice. Also, Safi, what are you doing here? It's 11 o'clock. Aren't you sleepy? Alright, the second I walk out of here, it's gonna make a noise. I knew it! Fuck you! Ah! Leave me alone! Ah! Safe zone! Leave me alone! Ah! Catherine, I found one of your thingamabobs. Where do I put it? I had a nap earlier from like 2 to 7. I missed a stream I really wanted to watch. Oh no! Okay, this is the thing. Where does it go though? Catherine, I got one of the thingamabobs.
We need to get you a new Cortex chip, just like the ones you find inside robots, so we can store your brain.
Okay, but I have one of the other things. Can I not put it away? Look how floppy it is. It's so floppy. Okay. If I go out, you're not gonna be there, right? You promise? Promise? Promise not to be there, okay? You promise not to be there? Okay. You'll be there. What was dinner today? Sophie made 2-hour curry plus a 30-minute extra because I forgot to make that. Yeah, I saw that tweet when I was on my ad. I actually just realized when I was reading your tweet that I have not in fact ate dinner. So that will be today was rough. Yeah, I feel that. I had a shift today. It was not fun. I accidentally took a long ass nap too. Why are you doing that? Don't do that. Cold storage. What is?
It's not something you really want to get comfortable with. Julia? What's going on? Am I that transparent? What do you want, Molly? We're friends, right? Yes.
What is?
Do you think Alpha is real? What makes you... Why would you ask that?
Ew.
Crazy, right? You've been down there. I just thought you could talk some sense into me. Ronnie, I'm not at liberty to... I can't talk about that.
Mouse. Can I put another one in? Okay, no. What are you? Oh, dude, this is so sad. Everybody died, and the poor rats were just stuck in these cages and slowly starved to death. That sucks for them. I feel worse for the rats than the people. What is that noise? They make noises. I don't like it. This has a light on it. I don't want to go in the cold storage. I feel like that's a not smart thing to do. Rip this off? Nope. Okay, fine. I'll go into the stupid cold storage. I would rather not. Look how freaky it is in here. Do any of you have a robot brain? Why are you guys doing this to the fish? Or like these the specimen you found like this? Look at this poor squid. What is that? Nope, it's not cold in there now. Unplug it. Why am I able to come in here? I don't... Damn, I can't knock them down. Was this just for shits and giggles? Do I have to close the door? No. Okay. Because the computer is broken. There's no doors. I mean, I haven't been hurt yet, so I don't need that. Also, no, I know Sophie, but I just forgot to eat food. Like, I had ice cream and some pretzels today, but... Like, I didn't have a meal. No foreign contaminants. Foreign contaminant. Oh, I see why there's no heads now. Nobody's got the black boxes. Oh, I know where a head was. How do I get back there? I don't want to deal with that head, though. Wait. I don't know how I feel about it. I got noodles the other day. Oh, my eyeball itches. And And it was like spicy flavor. I'm like, okay, I made mistakes last time, so I won't use all of the sauce this time. I used like half of it, and I was like, ah. I feel like you're not supposed to use all of it, but like the instructions aren't in English. And I can't read. I think it's Korean. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna mess with this guy's head. Don't touch me. There's a head. What is wrong with your leg? Hello? Oh, you're alive! Okay, I can't pick that up. You're not plugged into anything, though. How am I supposed to kill you? You're the only one with a noggin. You push this button. Oh. What? Why does that look like barf? Ugh. Okay, there's no heads in here. Alright, that didn't work. It isn't shiny, so I assume that's not what I need. I don't want to go in the door next to him. It looks... It's making static noises. He's probably going to grab my ankle. Don't touch me. I don't like this. Okay. Another door. Stop putting doors. Add to taste. Oh. You mean the spicy sauce. But if you... I feel like it's too spicy. Because even if you do a little bit, it's too spicy. But there's no flavor if you don't do it. Like, it's more spicy than chicken flavor. It's supposed to be spicy chicken flavor, but it's more spicy than chicken. It's more like chicken flavored spice. But there's no chicken flavor. Oh, you guys have heads? No? Okay, no need to do the zoom. You obviously didn't have a head. You might have a head. Leg off my face. You do not have a head. Man, you guys suck. Medical. Enjoy your stay. Did you guys enjoy your stay? No? Yes? Yes? Good. Open this door. Bitch, not you. Let go. Let go. Wonderful. Moving on then. The solution was I drained all the sauce out and then put yum yum sauce in it to counteract how spicy that shit was. It only helped a little bit. When I woke up, my tummy was upset. But I also just went to bed too soon from eating. Incorrect floor selected. You're moving on? Oh, shit. Oh, that looks cool. I don't like it, but it looks cool. Power room. That doesn't look good. Storage. Is there any heads in here? Well, this place looks nice and neat. Danger. Helmet. What is this? Is that a stick? Can I zap somebody with this? Hey, do you have a head? Oh. I do have a head. Ew. You got a chest tentacle. It looks disgusting. Wonderful. Nope, I'm good. I actually would super rather not. Thanks. I'm gonna go look for a different part in the lower level instead. Fuck you. How's that? Hmm? Sound good? Sound good? No? Well, too bad. You don't get to make the decisions, Mr. Monster. I do. Okay, not that. This way. And I choose life. Or unlife. Fake life. Simulate AI life. No, not AI life. Fuck that shit. I'm so triggered by the term AI now. When people use it appropriately, I like cringe. Like appropriate use of AI. Stop doing that! You already spoke to me once with that. How do I go down? Where's the down? Downstairs? Are you down? No. Hydraulics. Stairwell. Are you down? Do. I am going very slow down these stairs. Oh, it's spooky down this way, though. There was no doors here that were openable. Oh, wait, I have to just override the system now. I kind of would rather not. It's kind of creepy here. What is this area? Ah, my head. Okay, in we go. Robot repair bay. Hello? Black box? What do? Eject. Oh, I gotta route it down. This way. Down. And then you down. And you down. This way. Yeah. Nice. Oh. Dang, you just took his all his eyeballs. Nope. 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 Leave me alone. 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 Don't touch me. Run. 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 Catherine. Catherine. This was the wrong door. Catherine, I got the cortex thingy. I didn't notice that. Catherine! Got it.
We need to find a power pack to keep your new body going.
I don't want to do that. You do it. I am kind of hungry. So we're going to do a raid. We'll go to Nori since he was here. A second ago. Nori. VP. Thanks for joining me. I will see you tomorrow. I will do, I don't know, probably this. Thanks for joining me. Let me do the, I did make a raid message. So if you copy that, it will automatically put the emotes in when you paste it into Twitch chat. Okay? You guys ready? Okay. Bye. Thanks. See you next time.